everyone, it's Simplicity and welcome back to a new video. Today we have a bit of a collab video. This is a collab of, I believe there's 11 of us. And I will be listing off everybody here in a second, but this is the Welcome to Summer collab. So the premise of this entire video kind of collab is to unite 11 simmers, content creators, builders, casts, etc. To showcase summer vibes and just kind of like bring in the summer. And then it says that you can choose your favorite moment from summer memories you have and build the place of that, like a lot of that place. There's like a bunch of different kind of prompts and everything that we had. So for me, I am building a cabin that I stayed at and have some very fond summer memories. Now, is it a very fancy cabin? No. Are you going to be able to see that in this video that it's not a fancy cabin? Absolutely. Because I had the layout in this absolutely perfect. I made the cabin a little bit too big. You will see that I ended up like, I don't know, I somehow messed up my proportions and everything was a bit of a mess. But so the founder of this collab is Shan Finds Pixels. I'm going to have everyone linked in the description, by the way. And then we have Nessie Penguin, Plumbob95, Joseph with an F, Non-Rev Sims, Nuala, I believe, Wickus, Bunny Banana Sims, Florida, at CJ Plays, and myself. So it's a great group of people. I highly recommend going and following all of them if you haven't already. But as I said, I will have links down below. Not everybody is a content creator on YouTube, because it's kind of like the whole premise of this was to get everyone involved, whether you were on YouTube or not. So you could post on Tumblr, you could post on Twitter. There's like kind of whatever platform you have that is Sims related, you could post on. So that was kind of the whole thing, but it's gonna be like, it's a lot of fun. So I'm day 3, I believe, out of everybody. So I'm fairly early on in all of this, but again, I will have links to everybody. Make sure that you check out the content and follow them on the social media platforms because they deserve it. They're honestly, like, this is such a lovely group of people, and I am so incredibly honored to be a part of this. So as you can see, I was trying to kind of like make my little cabin. I did the alt trick for the foundation because I didn't want it to be up super high because like there was stairs and everything, but like it wasn't like a high foundation for this cabin. So yeah, a lot of the stuff that I wanted to use I didn't have access to in The Sims for like actually the layout and everything. And we had a pond out front. The funny thing with this cabin, which I didn't do in this video, but the cabin that I was staying at, like the entry was to the back of the cabin and not off of the road. So it was kind of like just a bit of a strange layout, but I did this where like you're facing the road. So my entire layout here is backwards. Like I should, technically I should have this entire cabin like flipped, but it ends up working out okay. Some of the walls in the cabin, so like where you're seeing the 2 rooms and like the hallway, they had like burgundy paint, I believe. But I always thought that it was just really strange because the rest of it was wood, and then you had like these random walls that were like burgundy painted. And it was just like, they weren't wood, they were like actually like painted walls, but they were burgundy. And I was like, you know what? For the sake of this video, I'm just going to stick with the normal like wood wall that I have. I don't have the necessarily light door for this. And I think my window placements might be a little bit off because if I'm honest, I wasn't entirely trying to make this absolutely perfect. Up here, there's a loft, which I was not able to get the ladder to place because of me shrinking down the top and not having it like a 2 full story kind of situation here. So there should technically be a ladder that sits like right in the middle of the hallway, like right here. And it was in one of the weirdest spots. Like you could push it up out of the way, but it was just in such a weird spot. I don't know why it was designed like that, but for whatever reason it was. But it ends up like, it was a very cute cabin overall, and there was a lot of memories made here, so I can't complain all too much. But yeah, so you're kind of seeing, like, I do kind of change this up a little bit to be a little bit more functional. The loft is not functional because, again, could not get the ladder to work, but I'm not going to have this up for download anyways, just because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's not all that exciting of a build that would, like, that people would want to play in, you know what I mean? So I don't know, I have a lot of very good memories here. And I just felt like this would be the best way for me to showcase one of my favorite summer memories is through a build like this. Because, like, I know I could have also done, like, a gameplay moment or, like, a criticism moment. But this, I feel like, just kind of worked best for me. So this was what we went with. And yeah, there should be, like, a little bit of, like, a pond. It wasn't really, like, necessarily, like, an actual pond. We had, like, so there's a bunch of cabins all along. And it was, like, I guess it was kind of, it was a mix of, like, a lake and a pond. But it had, like, we had this stream that went right past our cabin. And some people had caught, like, that we were with, we caught a turtle. Like, we released everything, like, right back. But the turtle, I think, was a snapping turtle, so that was a little bit scary, but it was also kind of, like, really cool to see it up close. We had some carp, we had trout. There was, like, obviously, like, you know, typical fish. But it's just, it's a very memorable time for me, and I had a lot of fun. So you're going to see, like, I will once I get into, like, actually furnishing, you are going to see how weird of a layout this actually is. So for reference, there was 6 of us in this cabin, and there were 2 couples, myself, and then a family friend. So, but, like, it's just very, very strange kind of, like, layout. So I did a little fire pit over here because part of my favorite summer memories in general are around the fire. I just really love sitting out, having a couple of drinks, hanging out with everybody around the fire. And that is a part of what we did while we were at the cottage. So you're going to see that I tried to just kind of, like, dirty this up a little bit because, like, we didn't have perfect glass. But I also hated the way that everything looked. And even if I did kind of, like, the dirt, like, sporadically, didn't love it, wasn't working, couldn't figure it out. We had a little portable barbecue like this that we brought ourselves. There was a little kind of, like, table over here. And then we also had, like, some lounge chairs up on the porch. But, like, it was a small porch. Like, it was probably about this size. And it was very, like, cluttered. So you're seeing that I'm going in here. And so the room to the left was to the right was the bathroom. I believe it was just, like, a simple white tile. I couldn't remember entirely what the bathroom looked like. I knew that it had, like, wood walls. But I couldn't remember, like, everything. And then I thought that I had myself filming when I was doing the kitchen layout. I didn't. So I apologize for that. That was completely my fault, and I realized halfway through. So a little kitchen layout doesn't make a lot of sense. It's not functional in The Sims. It's functional in real life. In The Sims, absolutely not. So we had, like, this little kind of couch area right over here. But then we also had bar stools that were coming, like, right off of the island area. And in The Sims, it does not make sense because you're not going to be able to use the one couch spot. Now, we didn't use the couch for a lot of things anyways. We used it as, like, a storage space. So I guess technically in that duality it worked for Sims. But okay, where did we had like a dresser out in the hallway. It was kind of like a storage kind of spot. And then there was also a mirror right above it. Obviously, like the exact things that I need, I don't have necessarily, like, they aren't necessarily in The Sims. So that was where I kind of had to like be impromptu with it. This was, again, as I said, our bathroom. It had like the strangest layout. I feel like it could have been a smaller area, and I probably could have made it smaller in The Sims as well, because as you were seeing, we have quite a bit of empty space in here. I threw just a hamper over here because we did have one of those for like our dirty clothes and everything, and then we go and wash them at like the community spot. There was a rug that sat on the floor in front of the shower. I can't remember the color of it, but I just left it the way it was. And this is where you guys are going to be like, what kind of cabin did you stay in? So this is probably one of the weirdest layouts I have ever seen in my life for a cabin, but this was how it went. So there were 2 double beds right out here in the open, like this, and then you'd have like the nightstands, like end tables in the middle. But yeah, so you had like the 2 double beds like right out here in the open, and not even in like their own little room. They were out here just like flat out in the open. I went with this one just because I was like, you know what, it takes up the space, I don't have to clutter. But yeah, so there were like 2 double beds like right here. So obviously the 2 couples that I went with, they stayed out here, and we all just kind of like hung out in this kind of general area until bedtime, which was like stupidly late in the morning. We probably went to bed at like 2, up at 8 every day, up 7, 8 o'clock. For me, probably more like 8. I enjoy my sleep if I can get it. But yeah, so we had that kind of like layout here, and the thing that you are going to notice, so like I put some bar stools in here because this is kind of like exactly what we had, was just kind of little like bar stools like this. I changed the orange wood because that was not accurate. But the thing that I noticed with this, so the end of the bed should be lining up with the hallway. Like the wall that the door's on for the room that I'm about to jump in and do. But that was when I realized that I had made the cabin like a square or 2 too big. So in here we had bunk beds. So this was the room that I had stayed in. I actually ended up getting this room to myself, and you're probably like, what, how did that happen? Because I had mentioned earlier that there were 6 of us. And this is only 5 of us that I have, you know, mentioned like where we were staying. So the other person that I had went with decided that they were going to take the loft and give me a room to myself. And I was like, you know what, that's fine by me. I will take the room to myself. There was not a whole lot of space in here. Like, I made this all entirely 1 square too big. And I wanted to try and fix it because like this wall should have lined up like this with the end of the bed. Like, there was not a lot of space in here, and then I was trying to like, technically this should be the way that it lined up, was like this, and I ended up just going back and going with what I had because I didn't want to have to try and fix the upstairs loft again. So I was like, you know what, we'll just adapt to it, it's fine. I may have actually added in just like some random clutter to take up that area. I don't entirely remember. I might have also not. I don't know, because I was also thinking about like adding a wall in here, and then that way I wouldn't have had to do anything. But then I was like, you know what, the window's not going to work like that, because like I did have a window in my room, so I don't know. And the thing also, like with this area, like we had like the sliding doors in here. It wasn't an actual like closing door, it was like the sliding doors, and they also had curtains. So obviously I was not able to really like do that in here. And then this was the loft area. I never went up in the loft, so I have absolutely no idea what it looked like. The way that I imagined it was just like a bunch of sleeping bags, and as I said, we had 1 person that stayed up here, which honestly I feel like it wasn't too big of a deal. It kind of gave myself and them our own like personal space instead of having to be like the couples and sharing like their own room. And I feel like it made for a better functionality for the both of us compared to the couples. So yeah, so I don't know, I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun this summer. This was probably summer 2019, so right before the pandemic hit, and I'm thankful that it was such a good summer and like a good memories before everything had started happening. But yeah, so you're gonna see me probably attempt to put the ladder in again, because I wanted it for the sake of the actual like functionality, and like it kept telling me ceiling was too low, and like I got that, but I would have loved to even have just like a decorative ladder. That would have been really nice. And I was realizing I was missing the like wall kind of area here, and they had something like that. I know that because I had looked up at it, but I couldn't make it work with the ceiling here, so I went with something like this. You'll see like the opening, obviously that was where the ladder was meant to go, but that didn't obviously work for me, and I also had not realized that one of my counters was sticking out, so I had to adjust that. But I'm actually going to go ahead and wrap this video up right here. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, you can go ahead and hit the like button down below. If you want to see some more videos from me, you can go ahead and subscribe. I post videos typically 4 days a week right now, hoping to get back to 6 days pretty soon. Make sure to check out everybody that has been a part of this collab. I would once again will have all of them linked down below. Thank you, Shan, for asking me to be a part of this collab. I had a great time doing so, and I will see you all in my very next video. Bye, lovelies!